So I'm going to make what are called lacto fermented pickles, which is basically a way to make pickles without using any vinegar. They will have probiotic properties because you are doing the fermentation of them, but they do have a really nice pickly, garlicky, some people call them sour pickles. This is the way people preserve food before they had refrigerators, before they had access to things like canning. They all did it in a crock. So first we're going to start out with our brine, or our brine. So I'm putting 5 tablespoons of salt, pickling salt, or you can use sea salt, into, what was 3, 4, let me just count here, into 2 quarts of water. And we're doing this in a half-gallon size jar. I got this recipe from Cultures for Health. They have good information on their website. So then you just stir it up. Okay, but it dissolves pretty easily. Now, a lot of times when you make pickles in general, they have a tendency to get mushy. So I'm going to talk about that here. I use black tea bags, and I make sure I use the bags that don't have any string or staples, because metal can be reactive when it comes to home fermentation. As you can see, I'm using a wooden spoon to stir, and so I use the black tea bags. So I put one in the bottom, and then what I do is I put my garlic cloves in the bottom as well, and that's 6 to 9 of those. And then I use dill seed. You can use fresh dill. You can use dill weed, which is like ground dill. And then just add my rest of my salt there. I'm going to use, let's see, I usually use for a quart, I usually use about 2 tablespoons or so. So we'll use about, we'll see what we got here. I think that's pretty good. I'll do an extra tablespoon. Just gonna add more flavor. Okay, now you can add pickling spices or not. It's really up to you what you want to do here. I like the way it tastes. Some people choose not to. They just go with the garlic and the dill. I just washed my scissors, so I gotta put them back together. And I got this from my local grocery store, or you can get it from a spice shop. It really just depends on where you are. You can order it online. And I get this actually from, I find these packages near the bulk section of the grocery store. You can probably buy it in like a container too near the baking section, but I like it near the bulk section. So I did a tablespoon there. I don't like I don't want too much pickling spice. So as you can see, my salt has dissolved. So that'll be ready to go in just when we're ready for it. And now what you want to do here is you want to cut off the ends of your pickles. Okay, so these are ones we grew. You can use any size. You get them from the farmer's market. You can buy them from the store. You can quarter them or half them. We're going to use them whole. So I'm just going to get the ends chopped off, and we'll get the jars loaded up. So I got my ends chopped off. I have my spices in there. I have my black tea bag. You can use grape leaves, oak leaves, or you can use the black tea. Since I have a lot of tea, I buy a lot of tea, I figure might as well just use that. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take our brine, and we're just going, and you want to use unchlorinated water, and you want it to be cool or room temperature. You just pour it in there. And as you can see, some of the spices come up. I'm going to put my bag on there, and then these probably won't float. If they do float, you can put a little weight on there. This won't float because it's this is underneath the shoulder, and so it's holding them down. They're packed in there a little bit tightly, which is okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our airlock. If you don't have an airlock, that's okay. You can take a coffee filter with a rubber band, put it around there. Some people take like a sock with like a hole in it, something that allows it to breathe. And then you don't have to stir it every day, especially if you put a weight on it, but just you want to check it and make sure it's going to bubble. These will take anywhere from, depending on the heat and humidity in your house, they'll take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, just depending. And you'll know because it'll start to get bubbly. You can always taste the top one, but I wouldn't taste it sooner than a week unless it's like I don't know, really super hot and humid in your house. So I'll get the lid on in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know that if you do this, you want to make sure that you keep it away from direct sunlight, and you just want to check it every day. I check my ferments twice a day. It's just what I'm used to doing, and that's pretty much it. You got any extra brine that you may have, you can use for another project, or you can put it in the refrigerator and use it within a couple days. So there we have it. We have our pickles ready to go, and we'll have to see how they come out. I will put the recipe in the show notes below. I didn't follow it quite exactly because it says use fresh dill, and I don't have any fresh dill. But you can use a dill seed. That's no problem. It does say 6 to 9 cloves of garlic. I like my pickles more garlicky, so I did use the 9 cloves as well. So I got my airlock on. I'm gonna put the little lid on, and remember, you want to use non-chlorinated water even in your airlock. So keep that in mind. We have well water, which does not have chlorine, so that's what we use. So once they're ready, once your pickles are ready, you can go ahead and you can move them to your fridge or a root cellar. I put a different lid on them before you do that, so you can reuse your airlocks. If you have a coffee filter or whatever, just make sure you get a lid on them, and then they're good to go. They keep for a few months. They will continue to ferment a teeny bit in a cooler area, but not at the rapid rate of room temperature. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.